Alrighty, happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Anthony Carpino. Thanks for joining me here on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. We're going to go over the latest thinking on those windier conditions that we're expecting for later on tonight. If you have any outdoor plans or if you're heading out the door this morning, you're going to be in good shape so far for the first half of the day, but then things will turn quite breezy a little bit later on into the afternoon. Then, of course, as we head through later on tonight, of course, if you have any questions on the forecast, you can ask at any time. Just pop a comment below and I'll be able to see those and be able to answer those while we're kind of going through the forecast. So thanks so much for everyone for joining me here. Let's jump right in. Let's talk about what we're seeing right now. So it's going to be this storm system, which is currently in the Great Lakes, right about there. This system is going to continue to slide off to the east, and this is what's really going to end up bringing us all of that wind and even the potential for some thunderstorms a little bit later on this evening, especially later on tonight. But I just thought this was interesting to talk about. For northern New England right now, places like Vermont as well as New Hampshire, well, they actually have some snow showers going on this morning, which is pretty incredible. They're not unusual for them for this time of year, but it's always interesting when we can start talking about snow. Nothing for us anytime soon. For us today, we're really going to focus on that wind. So we will have the wind advisory and high wind watch go into effect later on tonight, depending on where you are in Connecticut. That high wind watch highlighted there in that darker shade of brown, the lighter shade of brown, that wind advisory. So we'll keep a close eye on those breezier conditions that we're expecting a little bit later on into the evening and overnight period. So let's walk you guys through what we're expecting with these winds as we continue on through the afternoon. So we're going to notice as we get out of this morning and then later on into the afternoon, those winds will start to go up for us. Nothing crazy right off the bat here. We're talking about winds pretty similar to what we saw yesterday, gusting anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Of course, yesterday we did see some higher wind gusts in there as well. But as we move through the latter afternoon and into this evening, that's when we can really see those winds increase. So it's not going to be until about after 9 o'clock for Western Connecticut first, 9, maybe 10 o'clock, where we see those winds start to really increase. So this is not going to be affecting you during the daytime. It's going to be really as you're going to bed tonight where you're going to start to hear the wind rattle the house a little bit and maybe bring down some tree limbs here and there. So we'll keep an eye on that. There you go. As we move closer to midnight and after midnight, that's where winds can really start to pick up for us as we move through that overnight period there. You can see on your screen winds there gusting between 45 and maybe even up to 55 miles per hour. Then things begin to settle down just a little bit by the time we get to Thursday morning. So this is what we're expecting statewide, 45 to 55 mile per hour gust as that boundary moves through. Now, if you're watching us yesterday, we were talking about potentially 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. So we've dropped that down just a little bit. And the Weather Service also made some changes with those advisories. At one point, that high wind watch was in effect for the entire state. So there have been some changes last night and then going through this morning. So we want to bring you guys those changes there. So that's good news for us. Yesterday we even had a couple of wind gusts there getting closer to 50, and we only had a few issues as far as those trees and a few outages as well. But I think we'll still have that potential, especially with that line for some scattered power outages and some trees to come down, some branches to come down. That could always be a hazard. So just keep that in mind for late tonight and going through early portions of Thursday. So here's a look at future radar as we move through this afternoon. We are going to notice a good bit of cloud cover. We already saw that this morning. We actually had some pretty nice sunrise pictures. So thanks for everyone for sending those in. But as you can see through this afternoon, still hanging on to those clouds. And then we will have, when I mentioned that line, a line of showers and potentially some stronger thunderstorms later on this evening. If you remember, about 2 nights ago, we had that line of showers and storms too. So I'm thinking something pretty similar to what we saw then. You can see that line moving through 10 to about midnight across Connecticut. And then as we get past midnight there, we'll start to clear out those skies and then back to sunshine as we go through the day on Thursday. But with those thunderstorms, there's going to be a little bit of instability there. So I wouldn't rule out having that chance for some showers and storms. Some of those storms can end up being on the stronger side there. So we do have, for most of Connecticut, with the exception of extreme southwestern areas of the state, a level 1 threat for some strong to severe weather. But the greatest threat there would end up being the winds. So we're not going to have to worry about any kind of a hail threat, not a tornado threat with this, just a wind event for us for sure as we go through tonight and then by early tomorrow morning. So just keep that in mind if you're off from work today, or if you have any time later on before the sun goes down to just kind of inspect the yard a little bit. Just keep an eye on some of those branches if you can now. Try to take some of those ones that might come down. If you can do it versus a storm doing it, that usually works out better for you. If you're like me, and you still have some Halloween decorations that are still up, or any yard decorations in general, maybe some of the patio furniture, try to tidy things up a little bit because things might get blown around a little bit later on tonight as well. So just keep that in mind as you're going to bed later on tonight. Also, always a great idea just to make sure you have all those devices charged, just so you can get any kind of alert. And if you do lose power, you can still have your devices there to use. Let's take a look outside right now over Hartford, where you can already see clouds are moving in, and they're really just stuck in the clouds right now in the Hartford area. You can see the flags there on the Founders Bridge still blowing around just a little bit, but nothing all that crazy as far as the winds are concerned for us this morning. So nothing crazy there. But as we go through the afternoon, we'll start to notice those wind speeds increasing there just a little bit more. As far as the temperatures go for this afternoon, not all that bad either. 59 degrees for the high temperature in the Hartford area, and then sticking to the lower 60s for the shoreline. But we will notice that wind speeds start to pick up through the afternoon. Sustained winds between 15 and maybe even up to 25 miles per hour. And then those wind gusts on top of it. So turning quite breezy, especially as we move into the overnight period there. Again, peak wind gusts expected across the state, anywhere from about 45 to maybe even up to about 55 miles per hour. So we'll take another look at this for you there, 45, 55 across the state. The timing on this, so if you're wondering when this is going to be affecting us, this is likely going to start after 9 p.m. tonight and then carry through the early morning hours of Thursday morning. So we'll keep that in mind there. This isn't going to be, you're not going to go out this afternoon and have wind gusts of 50 miles per hour. You're not going to have to worry about it for the afternoon, but it will move in later on tonight and then early portions of Thursday morning there. One more time, I just want to show you that future radar as we go through the afternoon. Cloudy, starting to turn breezy. Then that line of showers and thunderstorms will end up moving through the region, and that's where we can end up seeing some of those stronger wind gusts there. And as I zoom out the picture a little bit, you guys can end up seeing that line extends all the way up into northern New England. If you even look, eventually some of that actually makes its way, turning more into some snow showers. So northern New York, Vermont, and the mountains of New Hampshire and northern sections of Maine could be talking about maybe a couple inches of snowfall, but nothing like that for us here in southern New England. For us, as we go through tonight, it's all going to be about that wind speed for us. Again, winds could end up gusting up to 55 miles per hour. So we'll keep a close eye. And one of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger side as well. With the line, that's where we can usually see those winds start to pick up, but it's within those thunderstorms that we can end up having maybe even some stronger wind gusts. So we'll keep that in mind as we head through the overnight period there. Let's see if I can get you guys the 10-day forecast really quick. Just pop that up here. So if you have any other plans as we go through the next several days, here's what you can expect there. So our temperatures remain into the 50s to near 60 degrees today, of course, turning windy later on tonight. That chance for a shower and a thunderstorm later on this evening as well. Sunny tomorrow, but cooler into the lower 50s. And then we're back to near 60 by the time we get to the weekend. Now, there are some shower chances for this weekend. We have two separate systems that will move through. One will be Friday night into Saturday morning. So Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, any outdoor plans, you'll be good there. And then another system on Sunday, this time Sunday evening and into the overnight. So if you have any plans for Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, or Sunday morning and the first half of the afternoon on Sunday, I think you'll be in good shape. So we're not talking about a washout for this weekend. So that is some good news for us. But take a look at those temperatures. By the time we get to Veterans Day on Tuesday, those high temperatures, 40 degrees. So it is going to cool down a good bit as we move into next week. And those morning temperatures back to the 20s, 28 degrees for Tuesday morning. And then afternoon temperatures staying into the 40s through next week. If morning temperatures pretty close to about freezing. That shoreline forecast is very similar. Cooler tomorrow, sunshine, still breezy at times. And then we're returning to the mid 60s by Saturday. and still having that potential for some morning showers Saturday, and then the chance for some evening rain as we go through the day on Sunday. But we're going to have more live updates on social as well as on TV a little bit later on into the afternoon. Ryan, Steve, everyone will have an update on that forecast a little bit later on this afternoon. If you guys have any more questions about the forecast, you can always shoot me a message here on Facebook or on YouTube. I'm on all the social platforms. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, everything there. So don't be afraid. Shoot me a message. Let me know how you guys are having, what you guys are up to on your Wednesday. And if you guys end up seeing any kind of damage from those winds, you can always send us those photos as well. We love to see what you guys are seeing out across the state. That lets us know what's going on with the weather as well. So we always appreciate that. Well, thanks so much for watching, everyone. We're going to have more updates through the afternoon. We'll also have another live update coming up at 11 o'clock on NBC Connecticut. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great day.